Jack Pardee at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the home of the Giants. And good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire, of course, and boy, what a wonderful day.
What a great stadium for a football game, and like you say, nobody but the players appreciate what a nice playing surface and a good day to play on it.
How do you like the transition that Joe Theismann has made from being a scrambler to being a pocket quarterback?
Well, I think Joe Walton taking over and really helping him with the offensive stuff and calling all the plays has made Joe Theismann a winning quarterback. Kilmer was a great one, and right now Theismann's leading that team, but John Riggins might be the best back in football right now, the best big running back, and he's the key.
What about Pisarcik?
Well, Pisarcik, as you said, he takes very well. He also doesn't throw the sideline stuff very well. If he's careful with an I formation, gets the ball, you can run against this Redskin defense. They play some man-to-man defense, which you can take advantage of, but be careful. They're all experienced, and the Redskins know they've got to have this one.
Well, let's have at it. Joe Danilo will kick off for the Giants. That's the official lineup. We'll be hearing from Chuck Heberling throughout the afternoon. Joe Danilo. And deep for the Redskins, Tony Green. And look out for number 34, the rookie from the University of Florida.
He's averaging 31.9 a shot, but he takes everything and thinks each play is a touchdown. And that can be a dangerous mental state in this league.
He had a great freshman year as a Gator. The all-time leading rusher at the University of Florida. Danilo drives him back to the 6-yard line, and this is Tony Green. This is not going to hurt his average. Tony Green in Giant territory. Jim Krall made the tackle.
And nobody really had a shot at him until he got into Giant territory.
49 yards on the return by the rookie.
He might have better than 4.4 speed.
Offside. Number 34, Blue, refused. First down.
Not really a surprising decision, is it? Here it is again.
You're from behind the Giant covering team, and where do they all go? That's what McVay's team's going to be asking. Look at this. Nobody showed up yet. One hand finally tackled.
The Redskins have always been good on special teams. First and 10, they have it. Joe Theismann, the quarterback, the line of scrimmage at 33. Clarence Harmon, somewhat of a surprise starter. Stopped by Gary Jeter and Brian Kelly. Let's look at the offense.
There's a pretty good offensive line, and the new rules help them. There's some of the great holders in all of football right there, I'll tell you.
Moving right along to the receivers.
McDaniel, the sensational outside receiver. Ricky Thompson, obtained from Baltimore. And Mr. Fugate, who's caught 5 TDs and 10 catches.
The quarterback, Theismann, Clarence Harmon, and John Riggins. Harmon got 1 on first down. Buggs gets away from one Giant tackler before Brian Kelly knocks him out of bounds. Danny Buggs, who's just off the injured list. Let's look at the Giant defense.
Okay, had a wishbone offense that time. Here's the defense. Martin, Mendenhall, Jeter, and Gregory. And you'll see Archer in there, and they'll go to a 3-man front occasionally now. Linebackers solid and very bullish right now. Van Pelt, Carson, and Kelly. And Bryant's in. Of course, Rhodes has a pinched shoulder, and the right cornerback will probably be touched occasionally.
It'll be 3rd and 7. Joe Theismann and his Redskin offensive unit. No score. Opening drive of the day, if you can call it that. Theismann drops, and he will scramble. He slides for a first down at about the 32 before Harry Carson pounces on to make sure.
Theismann came in with 35 yards rushing, but as Pat said, he no longer scrambles. He's a very quick athlete and a good one. Now he puts it away, not too quickly. Must have been good coverage by the secondary. He's learned a lot.
He has learned when not to challenge the defender. That's what Theismann has done. He is ranked number 2 in the NFC in touchdown passes. It'll be 1st and 10 Redskins at the Giant 32. Bounces off Fugate, and Brad Van Pelt gets the rebound. Van Pelt Away from Theismann. Away from a couple more to the 38, where the Giants will take it over.
The second interception for Van Pelt. A roll left. Fugit has it hit him off the pads. And the former All-American safety man runs pretty well when he gets a hold of it.
There's the New York Giant offensive line.
And they also take advantage of the new rule changes. Excellent at blocking. Clack, Van Horn, Gravel, J.T. Turner, and Michael Ochek.
The receivers, Donnie Perkins, Jimmy Robinson, and the tight end is Gary Shirk. Joe Pisarcik, number 9, the quarterback, Bobby Hammond, and Larry Zonka, the running backs. Robinson comes in motion. Hammond will get the carry. And he got more than I thought he would.
He always does. Hammond's averaging 4.5 yards a shot. McVay decided to take him off the kickoff return unit and let him just play tailback.
Here's the Redskin defense. It was Coy Bacon who made that tackle, number 80.
Little experience here. McDole, Butts, Talbot, and Coy Bacon, of course, obtained from Cincinnati.
Linebacking core, Dusek and Hamburger outside, Harold McClinton in the middle. The secondary is tough.
And great man-to-man coverage by these fellas, and they bang you all the way.
Joe Lavender on the right corner. Pisarcik, who's had some difficulties throwing lately, has Shirk wide open and overthrows him. By about a half stride, Gary Shirk, the tight end, covered by Hamburger.
Hamburger had man-to-man coverage, the right formation with the tight end to the left all by himself now. Robinson clears out to the right. Perkins is gone. Ball is just overthrown. You wonder if Dixon was in there, would he have made this catch? It's a good question.
He had him, didn't he?
Yep.
So it'll be third down for that quarterback, and that's what he's done. The last 2 weeks have not been particularly good ones for him. 3rd and 6. Zonka struggles close to a first down, but not enough. Jake Scott, the safety man, made the tackle. There is head coach John McVay.
Hasn't lost to the Redskin team yet.
It's amazing. I didn't know that.
Not sure John does either. Let's don't tell him about it.
Dave Jennings, I guess certainly one of the best punters in the NFL now. Tony Green is deep. This one slides off the side of his foot away from Tony Green to Ike Forte. Ike gets one block, gets another block. A flag is down as they get him down at the 10-yard line. Frank Marion made the tackle.
The reason that number 30 Harmon is playing so much is that Mike Thomas either is hurt and won't play very well with it, or isn't hurt and doesn't want to play much for Washington. It really hurts their offense.
Flag down. See if we can pick it up.
All right, the left part of the screen, you might see a clip. You do see a clip. And luckily, his number is hidden.
Personal foul, clipping, number 58, offense. First down.
The voice of Chuck Heberling.
Don Hover was the person I tried to save.
It'll be first down Washington. The line of scrimmage, their own 4. As John Riggins gets his first carry of the day. Stopped by Harry Carson. Jack Pardee. His team is 6-1.
And he has not put any undue restrictions on these old veterans. Play hard, work out hard. Your private lives are your own, and they're a happy team together.
A 7-yard run by Jim Otis puts the Cardinals ahead of the New York Jets over at Shea Stadium on the other side of the Hudson River. Tony Green now in the backfield along with Riggins. Theismann in the bright sunlight at Giant Stadium. Theismann struggling in the end zone, comes out. He will not get the first down. He gets to about the 11. The coverage was good. Larry Mallory and Harry Carson made the tackle.
Tried to sneak Green out in the left flat, and Brian Kelly is a small linebacker, but a very quick one. Had good coverage, and Theismann had to run with it and get hit a little bit.
It'll be 3rd about 4 now for the Redskins as Tony Green came over and checked with Jack Pardee and Joe Walton and went right back in the game again. Danny Buggs replaces Reggie Haynes.
Here's that wishbone look, Pat. No, now they shift out of it.
Fugit started off in the backfield, and now he is tight right. Theismann drops again. Tony Green. He has the Redskin first down at about the 21 before Brian Kelly banged him, knocked him out of bounds. Bill Bryant helped.
Boy, now, Joe Walton called this from the sidelines, but this was the same play that Kelly just covered Green on. This time Green gets about a yard on the outside, and you don't think the same play is coming again. And this time it's Lightning that did strike twice. Good play and pretty good recovery by the Giants secondary.
Interesting that every pass they have thrown so far has been to the left in the direction of number 21. Bill Bryant. 1st and 10, Washington. This is Herman. And that was Herman. Jack Gregory read it pretty well.
Well, Hermeling tries to get, watch the right part of your screen. Gregory just took the inside, beat the guard. That's about a 5-yard loss. That's about as quick as we've seen number 81 move in a long time. The Giants might be really keyed, huh?
Reggie Haynes was trying to block on Gregory, but he had no chance. He was into the backfield too soon. There's the veteran. 2nd down, looks like about 14-15 to go for Washington. Fugit is tight left. And now Harmon comes out on his outside. Riggins the lone setback. Through the hands of Harmon, hit by Harry Carson.
Carson is something. He made 14 tackles, recovered a fumble and an interception to help beat Tampa last week. Watch the rush by Archer, number 77. The Buffalo's in there. Ooh, leaps right over Nugent.
How about the way he got hurt? He missed the early part of the season. Hurt himself in the weight room.
Somebody dropped about 400 pounds on his Achilles tendon, I believe.
And he has just started to come back at near full strength the last couple of weeks. Good player.
Big call for Joe Theismann. He's got to be careful with this one.
16 they need. This is Harmon cutting back inside. He won't get to 16. We'll have our look at Mike Bragg now, one of the other better punters in the league. Probably won't kick it as far as Jennings will, but he'll keep it up there a long time.
You know, in 310 straight kicks, he has not had one blocked. And that, to me, is fantastic. I wonder if because of that, the Giants might try to gang and come on him.
Bobby Hammond and Jimmy Robinson deep for the Giants. A packed house at Giant Stadium, as it always is. Stay up there a long time, and it'll be Hammond retreating to his own 36. And look how quick the Redskins are down. They do an outstanding job, as we said before, on special teams. Mark Murphy made the tackle. With some help. No scores yet on an absolutely gorgeous day in East Rutherford, New Jersey. John McVay in front of the Giant bench. No score in our contest as yet, but there is a score in that one. Tampa Bay on a 1-yard run by Ricky Bell. 6-0 over the Bears. So Sarchek gives to Doug Coder. And hard running by Doug Coder before he is stopped by Lamar Parrish. Near a first down for Doug Coder.
The Giants are staying in this I formation because the Redskins are they have so many veterans on defense, they can, if you give them a formation or an open backfield, they can slant one way or the other. The eye doesn't give them that chance. Now watch Zonka, number 39, go out, get a pretty good block on Dusek, and Coder always picks the shortest route.
He did get enough for a first down, and the Giants have it. Their own 48. Zonka and Bobby Hammond now the running back. Coder goes out after that first down gain. Sarchek. Flag goes down as the pass was intended for Johnny Perkins. Lamar Parrish on the coverage.
Going to see if one of the man-to-man defenders was hanging on. It looks like perhaps.
No, it's more than perhaps.
They are so good at it, though, Pat. They've only had 8 penalties on that defensive unit. That's how good they are at doing their skullduggery. Going to call it on Lavender, are they? Number 20?
We'll know in a sec.
Illegal contact, number 20, defense. First down.
Lavender.
He is saying right now, I'll guarantee you I never laid a finger on him. This is the last part of the play. You won't see the contact. Of course, after 5 yards, you can't even breathe on a receiver anymore.
It'll be an automatic first down, of course. And the Giants, for the first time today, are in Redskin territory. No score as yet. 7:41 left to play first quarter as Robinson came in motion. The handoff is to Zonka, and he almost broke it. Brad Dusek tripped him up. A little fracas going on downfield between McClinton and Mikolajczyk.
A pretty good match right there. If Dusek doesn't make a very good low tackle that time, Zonka might have gotten to the secondary, and he can carry your whole secondary to the infirmary.
Billy Taylor, a good-looking young back, comes in for the Giants. A rookie from Texas Tech who can play.
This a passing down?
2nd and 5 is the situation. I don't think so. Zonka is close to a first down as they go left with the big man.
Some people have been running with big backs at Coy Bacon and Dyron Talbot. Now this is not only their responsibility. The middle linebacker has to fill, and they have to get some good support from the safety man. But they have been running left on the Redskins this year.
It is a cause for concern, I know, in Washington the last 2 weeks in particular. The Eagles ran well against them, and the week before that, Detroit did. They're aware of it. 3rd and very short. Zonka and Taylor, the running backs. Gordon Graffel might have beaten the count just a bit. The left tackle for the Giants jumped early.
Taylor was all right going in motion. You can get away with that. I think when he moved, Gravel moved.
Funny how on a field like that you can feel motion from other people, even though you can't see them.
Well, most good offensive linemen try to go 2 counts early anyway, but this one was detected. Gravel against Bacon.
They played against each other for years when Gravel was with Pittsburgh and Bacon was with Cincinnati.
12 start, number 63, offense.
They call it on Doug Van Horn, not Gravel. Let's look at it again.
Let's see if the center of your screen is 63 and, oh, it was a double fire out. Like they're on a tackling sled.
3rd down 6. Bobby Hammond and Doug Coder down the back as Zonka gets the rest. Redskins had a blitz to Robinson wide open. Touchdown. Gerard Williams made the tackle, but Robinson, a 43-yard touchdown run after the pass from Pisarcik.
Boy, this little guy is some kind of a competitor. He's only 5'10". He's lining up on the inside. Gets away from the linebacker. Good pass blocking by the Giants. Ball is not overthrown. That's an easy one to do, too, when the guy's wide open. First touchdown of the year for Johnny Robinson, and he has to earn it.
Gerard Williams wrapped around him, but Robinson scored. Joe Danilo will attempt the extra point with Mallory holding. 7-0 Giants. Flag is down on the play, however, so wait just a second.
I'm surprised on a man-to-man defense how anybody could be that wide open coming down the middle against the Redskins.
Illegal motion has been called against the Giants, and Danilo will have to come back and do it again.
Let's see how Joe Pisarcik had time to throw it. There's Bacon working against Gravel. Van Horn's got somebody buried alive. And Joe did have time, and he took a little off the throw, too. It was a good throw.
There's Joe Danilo. They back him up 5 yards, and he'll try the extra point again with Mallory holding. Jimmy Robinson, the Giant touchdown on a pass from Pisarcik. And Dinello is right down the pipe again. So with 6 minutes, 11 seconds left to play first quarter, the Giants lead the Redskins 7-0. The story of the Giant touchdown, climaxed by a 43-yard strike from Pisarcik to Robinson. Tony Green, who almost broke the opening kickoff. Let's see if they kick away from him this time. He'll have a chance to watch it sail over his head and out of the end zone. That's a ball that carried about 75 yards in the air. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants and the National Football League is prohibited. San Diego 7, Detroit 7.
Beasley Reese, the New York safety man, has been taken to a hospital for x-rays, so we got Mallory in his place, I believe.
That is correct. First down, Redskins. Theismann gives to Riggins, and Riggins breaks into the secondary momentarily before he's stopped by Dan Lloyd.
That's with the Giants' three-man front. Lloyd becomes that fourth linebacker. And I was told by members of the Eagles football team that Riggins right now is a real load. He is the big, fast running back that used to play with the New York Jets. He's very healthy, and he is really tough to tackle.
He may not be healthy at the moment, Tommy, because he just came out. Was replaced by Tony Green. So the running backs for the Redskins are Clarence Herman and Tony Green right now. 3-4 alignment again for the Giants as Theismann throws this way. Danny Buggs is knocked out of bounds by Bryant with some authority. There's Riggins.
Looks like he got his head jammed down into that helmet a little bit. At 229 pounds, and that's what he's weighing right now. He is really playing super football.
Now it's Jack Pardee that came over and gave him that little pat of encouragement.
Well, the offense is hurting, though, if you have Green and Harmon now as your starting tandem.
Without Riggins and Thomas, they don't look the same, do they?
68 on in.
Number 68, perhaps you heard that, is lined up as a tight end. That's Jim Harlan.
There he is.
Archer.
The big Buffalo. He sat in the stands here a couple of weeks, and they could barely keep him in his seat.
Here it is.
Watch the left part of your screen. Watch for 77. Behind the line of scrimmage. He is vociferous.
And quick, too. Mike Bragg will kick for the Redskins, number 4. Bobby Hammond and Jimmy Robinson to accept for the Giants. It'll be Robinson. Mark Murphy made the tackle. That's the second one he's made. 46-yard punt by Mike Bragg. As you look now at Jack Pardee.
Not only a good coach, he was some kind of a linebacker.
Jack Pardee, who last year was with the Chicago Bears and took them to the playoffs. His Redskins are 6-1, but they trail at the moment.
Some face, huh?
I don't know what to say about that.
Would you buy a fly rod from this man? Billy Kilmer, some kind of a guy, too. Yes, I would buy a fly rod from him.
First down, Giants. Jeff Coder and Larry Zonka behind Pisarcik and Coder. Runs into Dusek about a yard deep in his own backfield. Pat Leahy has kicked a 20-yard field goal for the Jets, and they trailed St. Louis now 7-3.
And St. Louis is competitive as heck for a team that everybody thought was going to fall out of the league for a while, huh? They're losing, but they play well. They make you go all the way.
Took Dallas into overtime last week. You look at Coy Bacon in the back of Lamar Parrish.
One of the best man-to-man coverage artists in the history of this game. He's one of the best left corners ever to play, I think.
Second and 11. Sarchek gives again to Coder behind J.T. Thomas, and Coder bangs for first down, still on his feet, away from Lavender. What a run by Duck Coder. Lamar Parrish finally made the tackle. A Redskin is down.
Pat, and remember, McVay keeps the fresh backs in there all the time. That's Kenny Houston, the great safety man who's on the ground. And Coder comes in with a 4.7 average and not playing all the time. I like the fresh backs, don't you?
31-yard gain by Doug Coder.
Good block by Turner on Hamburger. I tell you, hit Coder high, and that's what Houston tried to do. He'll take all the air out of your sails, I'll tell you.
Houston is still down. Coder 3 carries for 42 yards so far, 31 of it on that play right there. There is Ken Houston. Looks like he took a blow on the shoulder from Coder, and it was solid.
You can't have too many superlatives about Kenny Houston. I think in the tough games, he's the best safety man darn near I've ever seen play, too.
There it is.
Watch Houston. He doesn't get a chance to get down, and the right shoulder and elbow go right under the rib cage.
Coder just got a little bit lower than he did.
Lavender took a little ride, too.
The longest run the Giants have had all year is 31 yards. That was by Doug Coder, and he has just done it again.
Number 27 will be back very shortly.
I think it probably just went numb. Doug Coder, there he is. About 200 with good balance. At the 35, the Giants have it 1st and 10 against the Redskins. 3 minutes, 35 seconds left to play first quarter. Giants lead 7-0.
Do you go upstairs right away against the new safety man?
Yeah, Zonka and Hammond behind him.
Nope.
He goes to Zonka.
Got young Don Harris that went in for Kenny Houston. Now Houston comes back in very quickly.
And Harris comes out, sorry.
Pat, it's still a good thing to go right back and go after Houston. He's just gotten the air back in his lungs. Say, hey, we know you're hurt.
And now you go upstairs.
Maybe.
2nd and 9. Line of scrimmage, the Redskin 34. The option play to Hammond. It's going to work. Hammond inside Jake Scott, out of bounds at the 16. Ken Houston had to come over and knock him out of bounds. And Houston is getting up slowly again.
Yeah. Houston has the force on this play because the cornerback is being taken deep. The option takes place and Dusek gets caught inside. See Houston to the left of your screen being cut off. And now Hammond's going to work. That's Jake Scott trying to make the tackle and finally does.
J.T. Turner out in front. Here's Houston again.
Darn good option play. The option must have held that defensive line on the line of scrimmage.
Another first down for the Giants. At the Redskins 17, 7-0 Giants lead. It is Doug Coder straight ahead inside the 15 to about the 14 before Dave Butts tripped him up.
Remember the time that we gave Dave Butts, we thought he had small feet. Somebody told us he wore 7 triple E or something.
Yeah.
I don't think he does. He's 285 pounds, and he was a little bit hurt about that.
More like insulted.
Said, I got 14 D's.
3-yard pickup on first down, make it 2nd and 7. At the 14-yard line of Washington. Redskins behind by 7. Zonka again.
Oh.
At the line of scrimmage, Dyrone Calvert and Harold McClinton wrestling backwards.
Lamar Parrish and Johnny Robinson were having an exchange downfield, too. McClinton might be the key to this defense today. Zonka and McClinton. 53 wins it this time, doesn't he? Little help from Talbot below.
So it'll be 3rd down for the Giants. Detroit has taken the lead over San Diego, 10-7. That's the first quarter score. Donka and Coder now the setback. Robinson could not hang on. It is incomplete. He was open.
A lot of pressure from Lorch, or that would have been a touchdown. Robinson had Parrish beat when he left the line of scrimmage. By the way, his name is Jimmy Robinson. I've been calling him Johnny, and I apologize. I'm thinking of the old Kansas City All-Pro safety. Now, watch this. A little pressure now from number 71, but it was late. I tell you, Pisarcik should have hit this ball because Robinson was open and gone.
He almost made a heck of a catch, didn't he?
Almost came up with it.
31-yard field goal try by Joe Danilo with Mallory holding. It is good. From 31 yards away, Joe Danilo makes it 10-0 Giants. Now a conference with McVay.
His 12th field goal in 17 shots. You've been liking his improvement. You think he works hard? You like that leg, don't you?
I surely do. What about the World's Strongest Men competition coming up next Saturday?
How about that?
On a Sports Spectacular. What are they doing next week?
I think they're pushing a car. I don't know if they're trying to get it started or what, but they're pushing a big racing Peugeot somewhere, uphill or...
Phoenix 150 also will be part of the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 Central and Pacific. Joe Danilo, who just hit that field goal to kick off, to that man probably, Tony Green. Danilo back to the sideline again, and I imagine that McVay is saying, do not kick to that dangerous fellow wearing number 34.
Well, you were never that way as a Giant. You just kept kicking it to that good run back man all the time. Something about it.
And then I ran.
Who's the safety man on this team? I bet he tries to kick it out of the end zone again.
Remember the last one? All the way over Tony Green's head. About 75 yards in the air. That's the best kind. This one Green will have a chance with at the 1. With an alley. Without the ball. But he was the last man who had possession. And the Redskins will take it over right there. Larry Mallory was the guy who made the hit on Green.
Don't you know, though, that the word is out that occasionally Green fumbles at high speed. And every Giant that went by him after that fumble said, we knew it.
Ball really popped out of there, didn't it?
Here comes Lloyd, number 54. Over. Through. Hello there.
And hitting. First down Redskins. They trail 10-0. 13 seconds left to play first quarter. Riggins is back in the game. Almost picked off by Bryant. It was intended for Ricky Thompson. He had it for a second. It bounced out of his hands. And Bryant almost got it. Here's Jack Pardee in deep conversation right now.
We've seen the Giants play some pretty good football, but I don't think I've seen their defense this active. Hey, look at this score. Detroit back up on top of San Diego, 10-7.
It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Redskins. Their record, 6-1 in first place in the NFC East. By a game over Dallas, the Giants are 4-3. Heisman has the 2nd and 10. Higgins and a draw play to Riggins. Big John Riggins for about 8 before he's tackled by Brian Kelly. Watch the blocking on Jack Gregory right here. Terry Hermeling doing a job against him. Into the first quarter. That's it. At Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire, where the Giants lead the Redskins by the score of 10-0. This will be the first play of the second quarter.
We're going to watch number 84, Gene Puget, 6'4" tight end, might be the best receiver at that position in football.
0-0 Cincinnati Buffalo. Third down. Redskins need 3 for a first. Riggins will not get it. Never had a chance. Gregory. And Gary Jeter.
And Mendenhall.
That's the front three.
And it's the front four they start with. Look at Mendenhall. Gets him early. Gregory's there, and Jeter's right on top of it. Boy, they're active today.
Bragg has kicked twice so far. Today has averaged 41 yards. 4th and 6 situation. Robinson and Hammond deep for the Giants. Flag. Hammond signals for the fair catch at the Giants 25, where they'll take it over, assuming this is not against them. Mike Bragg, as we told you before, keeps it up there a long time. There'll be a lot of fair catches when he's punting. Against the Redskins.
You want another kick, or do you have good possession at the 25? Do you take it?
I think I'd make him take it again.
I don't know. No fumble, and you got the ball, and you have a 10-0 lead.
That's true.
Let's get the offense out and get it rolling. Eat up the second quarter.
They agree with you.
Illegal formation. Offense refused. First down.
5. Look at this. Number of offensive plays has Washington in the lead, but the scoreboard tells the story.
It has the Giants in the lead. The score is 10-0. 14-12 left to play before the half. $10-0. The Giants over the Redskins. Buffalo 3-0 over Cincinnati. What happened?
Tom Dempsey kicked a 20-yard field goal for Chuck Knox's team. Bengals have their problems, don't they?
Hand off Zonka. Straight ahead for 6 or 7. Dyron Talbert made the tackle, but Zonka got the good yardage.
Beasley Reese, by the way, the safety man, is out for the game with a broken fibula. That's the small bone in your lower leg. I am very familiar with it.
I bet you are.
Here's some of that line action. Zonk had a big day last week against Tampa, 50-some-odd yards.
2 touchdowns. Here is Big Joe Pisarcik. 2nd and 4. Zonka again bouncing off McClinton and bouncing to a first down.
Giants hitting the left side behind Gravel and Van Horn, and Clack going to the onside. Threw on the linebacker. You don't want to get a locomotive underway at 240 pounds.
Tim Clack got the good block on McClinton. 7 for 27. That's the book on Zonka today. The Bears now with a 7-6 lead over Tampa Bay. 34-yard pass from Bob Avellini to James Scott. First down Giants. Hammond. Quick force by Lamar Parrish. But Hammond, who everybody said was too little to play in this league, still struggles for yardage.
Lamar Parrish is still on the ground about the 30-yard line. He came up and forced it. Hammond looked like he was going for the Olympic breaststroke, but he picked up yardage, didn't he?
The artificial turf at Giant Stadium. That is Lamar Parrish, who is down. We have 12 minutes, 38 seconds left to play before halftime. The Giants are up by 10. The Redskin down is Lamar Parrish. Let's go back and look at the end of that play again.
And he took a pretty good block right there from Zonka. It looked like he might have just gotten his legs tied up with the big fullback. And here Hammond continues on his way, a little bit like Mark Spitz. Don't care how you do it, but get it. That's what McVay told him, right?
After all that, he got about a yard. Dyron Talbert comes over to make the clamp.
Uh-oh, Lamar's holding that right arm, huh?
Yep. Cornerback Lamar Parrish. Replaced by number 45, Gerard Williams. Joe Theismann, it has not been a particularly good day for him. And he comes from this area, as you know, I'm sure. Jets 10, St. Louis 7.
Scott Derkey in a 2-yard run, and the Jets are back on top. I think Cricky and Jurgensen right across town, huh?
Across 2 rivers. Detroit 17, San Diego 7. That St. Louis Jet game, of course, is at Shea Stadium. We're in New Jersey. That's in Queens. Here's Pisarcik giving to Doug Coder. And this time Coder has no place to go. Chris Hamburger and Jake Scott on the tackle.
J.T. Turner came out to trap Coy Bacon, and Bacon really laid it to him and made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. You want to watch contact, watch to the right of your screen. You'll see number 80 come across and take Turner and disrupt the whole play. And now Lorch and Hamburger, Scott, Pardee, everybody gets in on this one.
The Giants lead at 10-0, much to the delight of John McVay. Third down, about 11 yards to go, make it 12. Both backs in. Good protection. Will be out of bounds. From Pisarcik to James Thompson. Couldn't quite keep the feet in bounds.
Now watch the blocking because Pisarcik has a lot of time. Thompson's in because Johnny Perkins has re-pulled that hamstring. The ball just carries the receiver out of bounds. No amount of experience could make you handle the ball any better than that. Pretty good try by Thompson.
Dave Jennings leads the NFL in punting. Tony Green deep for the Redskins. That's why he leads the NFL in punting. What a shot this is. At the 11-yard line is Tony Green with room now. Out to the 30. 19-yard return by Tony Green.
Can he travel? Can Green travel?
Jim Peterzak made the tackle on Tony Green. The Giants lead it 10-0. Harold McClinton talking to Lamar Parrish, who is still holding his right wrist.
Now they can put a cast on that, and still he can play secondary as well as he does. He'll be back in probably 2 weeks.
First down, Redskins and Theismann. Fakes to Riggins, and he's going for a bunch. Nope. Flag goes down. The pass was intended for McDaniel, I believe. Bill Bryant on the coverage.
McDaniel came in with 12 catches. They're going to call this probably on Bryant. But this is that old, who has the ball? The team that throws it or the team is trying to intercept it. Pretty well played by Bryant. You can't ask for your backs not to go through to try to get the ball out.
Pass interference, defense, number 21, first down.
Here it is again. Number 21 is Bryant.
If you can't do that, you can't play defense. I thought the ball had settled into the hands before there was contact made.
Obviously, yeah, we do have another look at it. Here it is right here. And now we come back to the action. First down, Redskins. At the Giant 32, Theismann is going to go to work again. Ricky Thompson, the intended receiver. Pass was just too far. Terry Jackson was the nearest Giant defender, and he is dangerous.
Boy, if you can't play the ball like Bryant tried to play it, there are going to be a lot of shrinks that are listening to cornerbacks and safety men. You know what? You're going to have to get a couch for about 3 hours every week.
Theismann is 3 out of 7. 18 yards, the one interception on the ricochet by Brad Van Pelt. Second and 10.
And get Fugit under control. Get 84 and find out where he is.
He's in the backfield right now as they line up in the Y formation. Theismann fakes. Headed for the corner and out of the corner. John McDaniel was the intended receiver and Jackson the defender.
Catch-up. That's sort of a new game for the Redskins.
They've been breaking on top so far all year long.
Johnny McDaniel can pick up those spats and run a little bit, can't he? He had about 4 yards.
Theismann's throw just sailed out of the end zone. We have 11 minutes, 2 seconds left to play before the half. It'll be 3rd and 10 Washington. And again, they're at the 32, which is well within the range of the Washington kicker, Mark Mosley. Riggins. John sort of picking his way and struggling finally for the first down. Did not quite get it, I don't think.
Well, it's awful close. That was some call by Theismann by way of Joe Walton.
Here is Mosley. And you talk about a guy who gets the ball high in the air in a hurry. There he is.
You know what Dave Jennings told me about Mosley when he came? He said Mosley showed up and his legs showed up 10 minutes later. The heavy right leg.
In white shoes this year. From 41 yards out. How high this is. And how good it is. It would have been good from 55 yards.
9 of 14. I don't know what he does with.
Mark Mosley will kick off. He just hit that 41-yard field goal. Deep for the Giants, number 38, Billy Taylor, number 82, Ernie Pugh. A high kick again from Mosley. It is Ernie Pugh, about a yard deep. That's Billy Taylor, I'm sorry, number 38. Only to about the 9, and give a lot of credit to the coverage, but also give a lot of credit to Mosley for keeping that ball in the air so long. Tomorrow night, WKRP in Cincinnati, followed by People.
Oh, guess who's on People? Linda Carter, Wonder Woman.
And Phyllis. After that is MASH, and then One Day at a Time, and after that, Lou Grant. That's tomorrow night's lineup here on CBS.
Wonder Women, 2 Wonder Women.
How come that gets your attention?
I don't know. There's just something about her bone structure that gets me.
Phyllis? Or Wonder Woman? It'll be first down, Giants, line of scrimmage. Their own 10-yard line, we'll call it. Robinson came in motion. The handoff to Hammond. Cuts back inside for a fair chunk. Harold McClinton made the first contact. Giants 10, Redskins 3. Watch Jim Clack, the offensive center.
Big trade. Hicks over to Pittsburgh, and Clack came here. Watch Clack now turn and seal off Dyron Talbot. I mean, cut him down. Van Horn came through and made the trap block. Hammond continues to run well no matter where, huh?
Bacon came from behind. Detroit, San Diego. 24-7 now. How about that?
Dexter Bussey, a pass from Danielson, an 18-yard TD, and Detroit's having a big day.
Here's Zonka leaning into the offensive line and encountering some of the defensive line. On second down, they were straight ahead in their attempt to get the first down. Dave Butts led the defensive charge.
Sometimes the best way to play a bunch of experienced old geezers like this is to take a chance once in a while. If you play it straight football, they've played so many percentages, they know how. And occasionally you have to go ahead and let it fly.
Here's a pretty good time to take a chance right here on third and very short yardage. Willie Spencer is behind Larry Zonka now. Robinson checks off in motion, and Spencer bangs in. He is near a first down. Carl Lorch met him at about the line of scrimmage. Jim Clack says we have the first down, and so do the officials. Don't forget to stick with us at halftime when we'll go to the studio for Brent, Shane, and Irv with scores and highlights from around the league, and also a feature on today's New York Marathon, which had something like 12,000 runners.
My heavens.
Including all 5 boroughs of New York. They began Staten Island.
Wonder who's watching all of their wallets.
Some 2 million people looking on. Isn't that amazing?
It is.
This is back to Doug Coder. Swings outside Jake Scott. Ken Houston gets him out of bounds.
Giants are cutting a lot of Redskins down. You don't see the fellas in that burgundy and gold on the ground very often. They slide and they play off blocks very well, and I've seen some people that haven't been down a long time flat down.
By the way, Lamar Parrish has not returned. It is still Gerard Williams at that left cornerback spot. 2nd and 8. Thompson comes wide left. Robinson is wide right. Coder and Zonka behind Pisarcik. Coder. He got about 5 right straight ahead again. That's where they go, and Ron McDowell made the tackle.
Sort of a misdirection that time, Patrick. They started out like they were going wide. Zonk and everybody went outside. including J.T. Turner, and Coder just ducked it back inside and took his chances.
33 is Bobby Hammond. He was here with the Giants 2 years ago, was cut. Went to New Orleans, was cut. Just wouldn't give up. And he turned into a very reliable member of that Giant running backfield. Bobby Hammond. This time nothing doing as Brad Dusek wraps him up. And we'll get another look at the NFL's leading punter, Dave Jennings. He pulled back as well. And here's Jennings. He doesn't get all this one. Harmon gets a block from Tony Green, and a tackle is by Willie Spencer. And well done, too.
Must be bonuses on tackles. Both teams are covering punts like they haven't heard from the governor.
Tuesday night on CBS, Papillon, starring Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman. The most thrilling escape adventure of all time. And that is excellent.
It's two people that can escape, too, you know?
And two who can act.
That's right.
Riggins. John Riggins slides for about 14 yards before Ernie Jones made the tackle.
Boy, for a big back, he sure runs like he weighs about 190 pounds. Great move. Nugent going to the outside. Number 62 makes a good block. Turns Martin inside. Watch this move here now. He takes advantage of the block by, I believe that was Stark. Look at this cut. Now, that's not 190 pounder. That's a 230 pounder.
And he's been clocked at 9.5.
That's quick.
Something I don't know about. He'll get another try. Riggins running left. Harry Carson tied him up. Looked like he almost dropped the football.
Looked like he was in pain a little bit the way he was holding the ball, like his hip might have been bothered him a little bit.
Something happened.
Look at the big fella. He may have a little bit of a hip pointer. Or
7 carries, 36 yards for Riggins. Looked like a delayed injury of some kind.
They probably called his number, so he thought, well, I'll carry it one more time. Maybe it won't hurt.
Bugett lines up on the right side now after coming out of the backfield. Giants fake a blitz. That's Tony Green, the ball carrier. Struggles for a couple. Riggins still walking around on the sideline. I don't know exactly what's wrong with him. But as soon as we find out, we'll let you know.
Hey, the Giant defense better buckle that hat on again and start banging some people. Ball game's going to be tied up very shortly. This is a pretty good-looking Redskin move right now.
Lamar Parrish wrist is being x-rayed. We have no further word on that as yet. There's Riggins. Something wrong with his hip.
Nothing worse than a hip pointer for a running back.
Third down, short yardage, and Theismann wisely takes a timeout. They were about to run out of time on a 30-second clock, so Joe calls the line. There's Riggins.
You know, a hip pointer is an injury, a bruise on the top of your acetabulum, on that crest of the. And these guys don't wear any hip pads. They try to get a little bit faster than even they are, and so he's probably going to try to walk it out.
How do you know about all those medical terms?
I'm almost an orthopedic surgeon just by accident.
After the operation you had this summer, I can understand why on your leg.
Oh, I thought you meant the total lobotomy that I had.
Total.
That's four-sided. Look at Carson, that big linebacker, the middle linebacker of the Giants. Like Genghis Khan.
He has the equipment to be certainly one of the best if he isn't already. 6'3", about 240. Parrish has a broken right arm. Lamar Parrish, the cornerback for the Redskins. Third down, 2 yards to go for the Redskins now. It is 10-3 Giants. 4.5 minutes left to play before the half. Tony Green into the secondary for a Redskin first down. Beasley Reese and Ernie Jones had to make the tackle. It was Ernie Jones, I beg your pardon. Reese is out.
Watch number 77, Archer, come across, almost overrun the play. In fact, he had to be clipped by the off back just to get Green through the hole. This young man is so quick, you just can't let him get into the secondary.
He's all the way down to the Giant 25-yard line where the Redskins have it first and 10 with 4 minutes left to play before the half. Giants 10, Redskins 3. Joe Theismann, the quarterback, as has been from the beginning. Outside to John McDaniel. And he comes out of bounds and stops that clock, knocked out by Bill Bryant.
You can almost feel the tempo in this Redskin drive. They seem to be getting it together. Here's what the Giants are going to give us. Can we handle it? Archer's down. Good protection. Nobody in Theismann's eyes. Ball's on target, and Bryant has to lay off McDaniel a long way. Cornerback has nobody but himself and his mom.
No help from anybody, and that's a tough job. 4 out of 9 for Theismann. 8-yard pickup on that completion. Take it down. A lot of people in the corner. It is ruled incomplete. I don't know about that one.
Terry Jackson is saying that he was interfered with. It looked to me like he was run down from behind while he was trying to get the ball.
I think he has a legitimate complaint. We'll look at it again.
I believe it's Ricky Thompson that's running a corner pattern. Former Baltimore Colt. Let's see if we can take a quick look at it. Here's the throw. By the way, the ball's thrown very well. Away to the corner. Now watch, Thompson runs through Terry Jackson.
Honestly, I don't think Jackson could have made an interception.
But that isn't the point.
No. 3rd down. Theismann fakes, Theismann throws, overthrows. We'll see Mosley again. John McDaniel, the intended receiver. Theismann very upset with himself. Ernie Jones and Terry Jackson back on the coverage. Ernie Jones goes about 6'5" in that secondary.
Looks to me like the Skins are going to work on that secondary a lot.
Mosley will have Theismann holding. And let's see, it'll be from about 35 yards out.
Joe has faked these in the past, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Does not fake this one, and Mosley drills it again. So on 2 Mark Mosley field goals, the Redskins come closer. It is now 10-6. 3:34 left to play before the half. The Giants have 3 timeouts left. The Redskins have 2.
I like Mosley because he walks around with that big right leg knowing that it drives the opposing coaches and players mad.
Everybody thinks he's got some illegal device in that shoe.
He claims he just does a man's work with that right leg day and night.
The NBA, of course, again is on CBS. Washington against Golden State. Milwaukee against Seattle next Friday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Bullets off to a great start. A lot of depth on that team.
They play the Sixers like gangbusters, don't they?
Don't they?
Ugh.
Match up well against them.
They're as physical as the Redskins.
And bigger. Ernie Pugh and Billy Taylor back for the Giants, and of course Mark Mosley to kick off. That was the story of the last Redskin notch on the scoreboard. Billy Taylor. About 2:15. There's Mosley, and again, let's see if he keeps it up in the air so long. Nope. Line drive this time. Ernie Pugh doubles at the goal line, looking for some place to go, and it will not be there. For 81, Terry Anderson made the tackle. 23-yard return by Ernie Pugh.
This is a series where Pisarcik and the Giants have got to move the football. No more fooling around. They've got some plays to open the game up safely. They better use them right now.
Giants led at one time 10-0. Now it's 10-6. Mark Mosley's 2 field goals, one from 41 yards, one from 35. Giant touchdown by Robinson. And 43 yards out on a pass from Pisarcik. Taylor bangs over straight ahead before the middle of the Redskin defense. Dyron Talbert, Dave Butts, Ron McDowell stopped that whole thing. Pisarcik looking over to the sideline for a little help in his choice of plays.
You know, Kenny Houston came up and got into that gang you mentioned, Pat, and you should be able to play pass against any safety man that tackles you near the line of scrimmage. Somehow he always gets back.
10-10, St. Louis Jets. 41-yard field goal by the Cardinals, Jim Bakken. Tied it at 10. Zonka on second down will not get but a yard or two. Chris Hamburger circle around behind the offensive line and made the tackle. Shirt sleeve crowd on a delightful day in the Meadowlands of New Jersey.
Redskins say, okay, now you've had your fun. You've worked us over a few plays inside. You've run at Talbot and Bacon, and you've gone to the far side. Now show us something different.
It'll be 3rd and 3. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left before halftime. 10-6. Giants lead. They may not get this play off. They do. Pisarcik firing for Spencer. Oh, got it. What a collision and what a catch. Jake Scott might be stunned a little bit now.
What a collision. Spencer goes 230. He's only made one other catch, but that was one puts him in the class with the great receivers.
2 minutes to go before halftime.
Wow. Pat, here's Solano Joe's last throw. He has such a strong arm, he seldom does this. Not a bad blocking pattern. Talbot goes by. Now watch him take a little off and lob it over Hamburger and in front of Scott. And Spencer, of course, is blindfolded waiting for the gunshot, but he takes it and makes the catch. Great play.
Great example right there, the difference between a thrower and a passer. Zonka is the lone setback, and now he's joined by Billy Taylor. 1st and 10 at midfield as Taylor is going to run a reverse to Robinson. Now it's a flea flicker. Now they're going for a bunch. Thompson has it. At the 5, he is out of bounds by Gerard Williams and Joe Lavender.
Now the Redskins used this play to beat the Eagles in their first game. Maybe the Giants picked up the flea flicker. Watch this handoff. Back to the flanker man. Robinson laterals back to Solano Joe, and he really loads this one up. Mustard and onions and room service. Watch this throw and catch.
Number 89 is James Thompson. First and goal, Giants at the 4. A minute 45 before the half. About a yard. There's all Billy Taylor and Bobby Hammond back in the game. Got that carry. Here's Hamburger made the tackle.
Pat, on that flea flicker, it looked like there were Redskins at all their outposts waiting for something to happen that just didn't quite get it all together in time.
Clock still running and a minute 20 seconds left to play before the half.
You know, the tough thing about that play is trying to figure out on Monday whose responsibility it was.
It'll be second down. And now Pisarcik says again here. And the Giants take a timeout. 1:08 left to play before the half. 10-6 Giants lead, trying to get more.
Of all the times to come with an old play that works in the right situation. And I've seldom seen the old flea flicker fail, you know?
That's true. Assuming all the exchanges work out.
I never had many thrown on me because they didn't need them. They went with straight basic football, but
It's always part of the force. Don't forget to stick around at the half with Brent, Jane, and Irv, the NFL today. Scores and highlights of all the games from around the league, as well as that special feature we told you about before on the New York Marathon. 2 million people watching people run.
eating daisy seeds and lychee nuts and that stuff as they run along.
Pisarcik has only completed 3 passes, but they've been very effective, averaging about 35 yards of completion. It'll be second down. Spencer is behind Csonka. Fake is to Spencer. The run is by
Pisarcik's first rushing touchdown. Maybe ever, I'm not sure.
A crowd of about 75,000.
And you know how tough the Redskins are from the 5-yard line in. A good fake. I believe that was young Taylor. And the rollout.
Pisarcik steps into the corner, and Dinello will try to make it 17 Giants, 6 Redskins, and does. Over the net and over everything. Watch the fake again.
The fake is important here because the defense is playing simply reaction here. They've all got to go for the fellow leaping into the line, and that was young Taylor from Texas Tech.
Jim Peterzak leading the applause over in front of the Giant bench right now. As they lead the Redskins 17-6. Minute, 3 seconds left to play before halftime. Dallas plays Philadelphia. That game should be getting underway just about now. The Redskin record is 6-1. The Cowboys 5-2, and Philadelphia and New York right behind them. We're glad you do.
And we join you. And it is a gorgeous day. The trees are turning. Football players like that, don't they? When, I don't know, it's the fall of the year, I guess.
Seems like that's the way it should be. Both teams have 2 timeouts left.
Brings out the best in you.
Dinello kicks a slider over to Terry Anderson. Little speed here, too. To the 31, stopped by Bill Bryant. That's the scoring drive. The big play, of course, that flea flicker pass from Pisarcik to Thompson.
How long was that flea flicker? I didn't get the distance.
46, I believe.
46. How's Theismann on a hurry-up campaign? We watched him beat the Dallas Cowboys with a very careful game plan. How careful is he going to be in 55 seconds?
We will know shortly. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Not going to be careful. Going to have to be careful now. That's the wrong bench.
Theismann was a little preoccupied last week when the team lost to the Eagles. His daughter and young son were in a bus that had a collision, and the young daughter had 60 stitches. Joe said that had to be a plastic surgeon on duty at the emergency room, and things are all right, but there's nothing like a family problem to take your mind off football sometimes.
There's Joe Pisarcik. Down the middle, almost picked off by Harry Carson. A pass that perhaps was forced a little bit right there.
Fugate was running a straight, but there were 2 linebackers and a safety man in the area. Carson's big interception last week against Tampa actually put the Giants in the driver's seat. He took a cast off his arm he'd had on for a while and made the interception, but let's see what happens this time.
A lot of folks around this one in the wrong color jersey. Fugate never had turned back, and now he comes out of the game.
Lloyd saw the ball for the first time this year, too.
In a difficult first half for Joe. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire at Giant Stadium, where the Giants lead 17-6. Theismann again drops and throws. Ball is tipped by Terry Jackson and knocked away from McDaniel.
And he's Frito Bandito. He's the best-looking rookie cornerback I've seen in this league in years. Jackson started his season, his pro career really, with a touchdown for interception against Tampa. Now watch him make the move on this. He takes chances, and you've got to play the secondary.
So it'll be 4th down, and Mike Bragg comes in. He has averaged 40 yards so far today. 17-6. The Giants over the Redskins. Robinson and Hammond Deep for New York.
Oh.
High kick from Bragg, and Robinson immediately goes up with the hand and signals for a fair catch. That'll stop it at the 13, where the offensive unit takes over for the Giants.
If your young person is going to play football, the first thing teaching is the fair catch signal.
I don't think he knows what it is. Kick was 48 yards from Bragg, and it stayed up there, it seemed like, for at least 6 seconds.
Sarchik knows, though, that the Redskins still live by turnover and defense. Be very careful for the next few seconds and go into the locker room and get your Gatorade and be happy.
That's the time remaining, 29 seconds on 1st and 10 Giants. They will probably just run it out. Zonka in the arms of Dyron Talbert. Clock still running. And it'll continue. John McVay right now satisfied with the situation. He is never lost to the Redskins. And he is ahead of them right now, 17-6 as time runs out. And the teams run for the locker room. Another half to go. You have to be impressed, Thomas, with the first half effort of the Giants.
Well, the Giant defense came out really hitting it a lick, and it seemed like the offense fell right in with it, you know. What you allow us to do, we'll keep pace with you, and pretty good first half is right.
At least for the Giants, they lead 17-6.
Welcome to our Sports Control Live. I'm Brent Musburger. Dallas and Philadelphia still scoreless. The rest of the action this afternoon. Tampa Bay and Chicago. At the half, the Buccaneers lead the Bears by a field goal. And the Jets and the Cardinals tied at 10 at the half. And, of course, the game you're watching, the Giants dominating Washington 17-6 at the half. Buffalo, Cincinnati, the Bills up by a field goal also at the half. The surprise of the day, the Detroit Lions. They're running all over San Diego 24-7 in the second quarter. Green Bay and Minnesota, important game in the NFC Central, scoreless in the first. And Philadelphia and Dallas, the Eagles have just picked up a first down near midfield, scoreless first quarter. Cleveland leading Kansas City by a field goal in the first. And of course here in New York, one of the big stories this morning was the marathon, Jade.
That's right, Brent. More than 2 million people lined the streets earlier today to watch the New York Marathon. One of those was waiting at the finish line with Jack Whitaker. Now, here's Jack with the report.
Welcome to Central Park in the city of New York on a beautiful autumn day and one of the greatest days this great city has ever seen. The 9th annual New York City Marathon is coming to an end. Bill Rogers about to win his 3rd consecutive title. In the women's division, a mystery lady. Number 1173 is leading at this point. We don't yet know her name. It all began at 10:30 this morning. 11,142 men, women, and children started running on the Staten Island side of the Verrazano Bridge. An incredible sight on this warm autumn morning. Every state in the Union except South Dakota was represented as these runners attempted the 26 miles, 385 yards of the marathon distance through the 5 boroughs of the city of New York. Over 1,100 women are competing. 1,458 lawyers, doctors, and dentists. 71-year-old Walter Stack of San Francisco. 9-year-old Howard Brynan of Connecticut. Runners from 28 countries, housewives, ballet dancers, and 4,800 people who have never run in a marathon before make up this joyous group who celebrate the biggest day that running, the sport of the 70s, has ever seen. We are looking down now at the finish line, the last 385 yards that they will run. As we told you, Bill Rogers, the defending champion, the record holder for this event, he took over the lead at the 8-mile mark along with Gary Bjorklund. Gary Bjorklund and he dueled until 15 miles, and now here he comes, all by himself, an exotic and joyous Bill Rogers, about to wrap up his 3rd consecutive New York City Marathon title. And listen to this crowd. All right, here we are with the winner, Bill Rogers, his third straight, and you are Mr. New York right now.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to be that way, I'll tell you. It was very intense pace early in the race.
Wasn't it? Why was that? Because of the great competition?
Only one runner. Well, first Ian Thompson from England, and then Gary Bjorkman busted it wide open too early. And I knew that he was making a mistake. It was too early. And about 10 miles, he seemed to suddenly falter.
That was from about 8 miles to 15 miles in that stretch where you were right together?
Yeah, right around 13 miles, 10, 12 miles. And we decided, we told each other we'd run with each other for a little while. But then I knew that it was either, you know, if it had been later on, I would have considered tying with him. But this way, it looked like it might be risky to win, so I decided to go on ahead, you know.
Well, what you did was absolutely correct. Terrific, Bill. Congratulations. You are the hero of this country right now.
I'll be back next year.
Attaboy. Back to you now, Brent.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. Who was the fastest woman today, Jack?
Greta Weitz, and she set a record. She's from Norway, and she came in at 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 12 seconds.
She's not used to such great weather conditions.
No, and she was also one of the first that ever ran the marathon distance.
Okay. Now, we're going to be right back. The NFL Today will continue on CBS. We're going to look at Robert Newhouse tipping some plays after these messages from your local stations. The Eagles and the Cowboys are still scoreless. Dorsett not playing for Dallas today, nor is Harvey Martin, both because of injuries. Let's take you back to a couple of weeks ago. Monday night game. Cowboys on the attack. Watch Robert Newhouse. Richard Waldo, a sports producer, noticed that when the mouthpiece, hanging down like it is right there, dangling, number 44, every time he saw that, it was a pass play by the Cowboys. Here's Staubach looking for him. And sure enough, they would freeze the action. Now, Newhouse in motion right towards you, and you can just see it dangling down, not up there in the mouth, and sure enough, it was a pass play. Irv Cross, when it was in his mouth, it was a running play. Could the Redskins have been reading that?
No question, Brent. If he showed that as sort of a tendency, they were reading it. Players oftentimes will develop little habits, leaning one way or the other on passes or runs, and he did tip these plays.
Now, last week, the Cowboys came back, and you'll watch Newhouse here. When he gets back up and he faces you, different style mouthpiece. Was not one that would dangle down. So apparently, the Cowboys are well aware of what was going on. All right, today, the game you're watching from the Meadowlands. Washington against the New York Giants. Let's take a look at some of the action from that. Some nice passing going on by Pisarcik, and he was able to get Robinson wide open on this play, and certainly coverage is beaten here. Just a foot race. Cornerman's not even there. 7-0. Giants lead the Skins. Doug Coder on this play. Dipping and then cutting for 31 yards to the Washington 35-yard line. Danella kicked a field goal. It was 10-0. Hey, everybody's got a flea flicker. They're all using it. Goes back to Pisarcik. He goes to Thompson on the 4-yard line. 2nd and goal on the 3, and Pisarcik then ran in for the corner on it, and that was 17-6. And Irv, what do you got on Tampa Bay?
Well, the game's in the third quarter there right now, and Tampa Bay leads the Chicago Bears by a score of 13-10, and of course the Bucs no longer play like an expansion team. Young quarterback Doug Williams comes in after an intercepted pass, hits Cedric Brown, takes the ball inside the 5-yard line, and Ricky Bell does the rest. He goes over, and Tampa Bay takes a 6-0 lead after missing the extra point. But Bob Avellini comes back and hits James Scott for a touchdown as he loses a couple of tacklers down there, goes all the way for a score. Chicago's ahead 7-6. Tampa Bay again in the second quarter with Doug Williams under control. Rolls out to his right and hits Jim Obradovich. Watch this catch. Fingertip catch. He goes in, and Tampa Bay leads in the third quarter 13-10.
The Jets and the Cardinals are tied at 10. The Jets are on the Cardinal 40-yard line at this moment. Let's show you what happened earlier in the game. Here's the end around. Tilley winding up with it for the Cardinals. Gets to the Jets' 8-yard line. And from there, Jimmy Otis finally thundered in for the touchdown. It was 7-0 after the extra point. Now watch a Jets ball. Good running game. They lose Todd, and the offensive lineman went to work, and again, that score is tied at 10. The Jets have the ball, and they're driving in, and right now we're going to send you back to Pat Summerall. Pat?
You're looking at Giant Stadium, and yes, that score is correct. The Giants. Preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Giant Stadium, watching the home team leading 17-6, and Tommy, I know we're looking at those stats. Got to be impressed with that Giants defense.
You know, Theismann came in with over 1,200 yards passing. They've held Joe to 4 completions on 13 attempts for 27 yards. And they actually the Redskins have 94 total yards. They've got 67 rushing, only 27 passing. Meanwhile, Pisarcik, an incredible half, I think, for him. 3 for 6, which is careful, 111, and the 146-yarder on the flea flicker set up what I thought was the biggest, perhaps, touchdown they've had all year.
You are Joe Theismann. You're the Redskin offensive unit, led by Joe Walton, as we've been saying before. What do you do now?
Well, you use probably the same offensive game plan you came in with, but now you execute it. I think they have to have Riggins. Mike Thomas, for some reason, is not playing very much or very well for the Redskins, and most people think that a tandem of Riggins and Thomas is tough. Riggins alone, that's perhaps dinged, not quite so difficult to defense.
They're both a little bit hurt right now. Riggins, we think, with a hip pointer. We have no word on that as yet, but he had to come out of the game in the first half. And Mike Thomas has seen no action. There are some of those halftime statistics we were talking about.
Total yards, 94 by the Redskins. They came in with 313 per game average. They got 27 passing, 67 rushing. That is some defensive job.
Look how much longer the Giants held the football than the Redskins did. Almost 7 minutes.
And didn't have that many more plays. They just made the plays work.
This will be Martin Mosley to kick off for the Redskins. He has accounted for all their points. 2 field goals, 141, 135. And deep for the Giants, Ernie Pugh, and I believe Billy Taylor. Shirt sleeve sellout crowd. Temperature in about the mid or perhaps high 70s. Ball bounces over to the left. Is taken by Pugh. And taken up the sideline by Ernie Pugh. He's still on his feet. Just across midfield. Dallas Hickman made the tackle.
Boy, a great play by Pugh. He's a young man out of Texas Southern. He's got great speed and has sort of been trying to find a place to play on a regular basis. Watch this move along the sideline. Didn't worry about the ball going out of bounds. Wanted it to stay inbounds, which is more important. On offense, Mr. Pugh.
Must have stepped out of bounds earlier than we picked up. The line of scrimmage will be the Giant 39. They lead 17-6. First play of the second half. Zonka and Hammond running backs for the Giants, and this will be Hammond. Quickly looks and quickly gets about 7 yards. Chris Hamburger made the tackle.
That time the Redskin defensive line shifted to the strong side, and they ran to the weak side, and they handled Dyron Talbot and made some pretty good yardage. And you know, Clack and company have done a pretty good job blocking against Butts.
And Talbot.
And McDowell.
And Bacon. 7 yards by Hammond on first down. First down in Redskin territory. Finally tackled by Ken Houston.
Going right at the Skins where they live. Now watch what happens if McDowell doesn't make a super play from the left of your screen. They've got Butts straightened up. There's the block on McClinton. And if McDowell doesn't make this move right there, Hammond would have been off and really running. Good recovery by number 79.
Terrific block on Butts. Jets 13, St. Louis 10. First down Giants here. They lead 17-6 as Billy Taylor tries to cut back inside. Ken Houston, the safety man, again came up to force and make the tackle.
Defensively, the question will be if the Redskins start blitzing a lot, start trying to gamble on defense to try to win it there. That time they send a lot of people across the line of scrimmage.
Boyd Bacon came from Cincinnati in the offseason. Billy Taylor and Duck Coder are now the running backs. So the Giants on second down, it'll be Coder. And Hamburger makes the good play. Played off the block by Taylor and made the tackle with Jake Scott's help on Coder.
Boy, Washington really squeezed them on the last 2 plays. Everybody was coming. Hamburger's jumping the line of scrimmage. Bacon jumping to the outside. Watch the right part of your screen. Inside, Talbot takes on Van Horn. Bacon's penetrating. Number 55 is already there, and they're daring you to run right now. Action in the afternoon.
Gordon Gravel just took him where he wanted to go. Third down and about 9. Sarchik throws outside and throws over the head of Billy Taylor, covered by Joe Lavender. Larry Zonka, I beg your pardon, that's who the pass was intended for.
Great defensive series by the Redskins.
Dallas has gone in front of Philadelphia, by the way, by the score of 7-0. 12:50 to go before the half in that game. 2-yard run by Robert Newhouse.
The Rhino.
Dave Jennings deep. In the direction of Tony Green and over his head, it'll go into the end zone. They'll take over at the 20.
Theismann was a little late getting out there. He and Joe Walton were having a conference on the sideline. Let's see if the Redskin offense is picked up like the defense did.
It is 17-6. Giants in the lead with 12 minutes, 1 second left to play in the third quarter. First down, Redskins. Their running backs are Tony Green and Clarence Harmon. Taken down by Harold McClinton, by Harry Carson, I'm sorry. There's Mike Thomas.
Big question, is Thomas hurt or are Thomas's feelings hurt? Nobody seems to know. The team simply sidestepped the action, but here's a very fine running back who can catch the ball. A little bit subdued. This team needs him in the backfield.
He and Riggins both on the sideline. And now Riggins is back into the game.
Come on, Nugent! Come on, George! Go!
That's Harmon. Not quite enough for a first down in the arms of Troy Archer, number 77.
Offensive line for Washington is really coming out of the blocks right now. There's Archer. Saul made his block. Hermelink. They'll begin to unload. And that's a good offensive line. They have been a long way before.
Minnesota 7, Green Bay nothing.
Tarkington to Chuck Foreman for a 16-yard touchdown pass.
We watched them last week when they lost to the Rams, who looked awfully good. Third down, about 1.5 yards they need. And here's Riggins with the carry. Riggins has the Redskin first down. Harry Carson again on the tackle.
Three straight running plays at the defensive right side of the Giants.
Giants now make the substitutions that will put them in a 3-man front. Chicago 16-13 over Tampa Bay. Roland Harper, the touchdown that put them ahead. John Mendenhall gets a little rest. Riggins and Harmon behind Theismann. 17-6. Giants lead Redskins. Riggins around to the outside. Breaks one tackle. A flag is down.
They were holding Archer, number 77, on the play. Looked like maybe Kuziel, the offensive center, grabbed number 77.
Larry Mallory made the tackle.
When you're hurt and you come back, there's a tendency to come back too soon and have people sort of run over you for a week or two, but Archer played a little last week and pretty well, and he's seen a lot of action this afternoon.
Referee is Chuck Heberling.
Holding, offense, number 54, first down.
Bob Kuziel is the offensive center.
Pretty good blocking going on. We did not, there's the holiness to the top of the screen. Barely could see it in that replay.
First down, Redskins. Giants now in a 3-man front. Theismann fakes to Fugit. Screen pass to Riggins. Oh, John is stuck by Brad Van Pelt. What a hit.
Van Pelt looks skinny, but he's carrying 235. And don't let that nice smile fool you. Good call by Theismann. He faked the screen to the left and got the heat off of him, and it looked like Riggins had a lot of running room until.
Van Pelt came from the other side. What's the Jet St. Louis score now?
2010, huh? Durking.
Scott Durking again. That's his second touchdown of the day. Brad Van Pelt. Second down, the Redskins lead about 12. They get a first. Clarence Harmon, along with Riggins, are running back, and it will be Theismann to throw. Fugit got it. Just shy of the 40. Before he steps out of bounds, Larry Mallory, the closest Giant.
Joe Theismann is really a fine passer, and some people have, I don't know, we've always thought he was a run-around quarterback and all, but when he sets it up, got the good feet and little sidearm, but he can wing it. A very fine throw to Fugit.
It'll be third down now. Theismann 6 out of 15 on the day. Detroit 31, San Diego 7. That's a little shocking. 3rd and 4, the Redskins. Theismann back in the pocket again. Throws in the direction of Harmon. There he is. As the ball deflected just out of his arms by Brian Kelly.
And Bryant went ahead and took the receiver. Harmon out of bounds and down.
With meaning.
Worried about the next throw in his area.
Mike Bragg. Jimmy Robinson and Bobby Hammond back deep for the Giants. We have 9:39 left to play third quarter. It's the Giants 17, the Redskins 6. Another good kick from Mike Bragg. It stays up there a long, long time, and Robinson shakes away from one tackler. But the swarm is there. Flag?
Little flag on the field. It looks like somebody came down too early for the Redskins, and Giants can go to the Ouija board and decide where they want to take the punt again. I would imagine they'll make him kick it over. That was a great punt.
They would have the ball back at their own 15 if they elected to refuse this penalty.
You know, he's such a good kicker, nobody even tries to put pressure on him. And that seems to be the punter I would like to try to put pressure on if nobody else does.
One of those things that a reputation like he has of never having had a kick block will do for you. Keeps the heat away. 17-6. Big Throng is rather quiet at the moment. That's 75,000 people in attendance.
Field, 25, 4th down.
Quite a football player, Riggins.
Cleveland 3, Kansas City 3. Field goals by Stenerud, Cockroft. Catches another one. Another flag is down as Hammond goes up with the fingers, signals for the fair catch, and finally down he goes.
I'm wondering if this time the Giants may have tried to hold up a receiver with too much gusto.
Don Harris, one of the wide men for the Redskins, was in a little fracas on the far side of the field. Again, there's a penalty on this play. 38-yard kick by Bragg.
Ooh.
Flipping against somebody, and they're going to bring it back again.
Trying to keep one of the outside men getting down at all, or ever.
It'll be enough, I believe, for a Redskin first down after this penalty. One of the Giant players, I think that's Beasley Reese.
Already in a cast. That means that the fibula in his left leg has been stabilized.
Got the cast and the crutches. A sight you hate to see.
The sorest armpits in the land, boy, when you're on those crutches.
We have illegal cut. Number 31 on defense. There's a first down.
Illegal cut is the call against Ernie Jones. And John McVay is dismayed at the moment. 1st and 10 Redskins. Giants lead 17-6. 9:19 left to play third quarter.
Theismann loves to take advantage when you've made some kind of a silly mistake.
We'll try with Riggins, and Riggins bounces into the secondary before he's taken down by Harry Carson. Not an empty seat anywhere.
I'm sort of waiting for something to happen. I'm almost like the fan in the stands right now. I'm waiting like the coaches are. Is the Redskin offense going to show up today and play or not?
John Riggins, by the way, has 9 carries now for 45 yards. He's the lone setback at the moment. Stays in the block. And does. Wide open is Tony Green and can't get there. Larry Mallory was the Giant defender who was closest, but Theismann had his receiver wide open.
Theismann ran 2 9s. A 9 in a pass pattern means a straight. 88 Danny Buggs on the left side and Green on the right, and they were both flat out. And that time, number 7, Flat, missed the open receiver. Archer trying to move through the pocket. Starks having some trouble with Jeter, a lot of trouble. Theismann just simply overthrew the receiver.
Bob Kuziel came back to help out and did a job. 3rd and 7. Theismann to throw again. Riggins is wide open. At the Giant 45, John Riggins stopped by Harry Carson, but has a first down. Brad Van Pelt limping just a bit now.
14th catch by Riggins. Again, the good speed. They'll just check him out. What's the right part of your screen? He'll banana, as they say, run it. Fugit cleans out the linebackers, and there's number 44, and you got a problem.
First down, Redskins, and Riggins gets the carry and the call again. Can't find much of a place to go, but runs over a couple. He is so deceptive. So quick to be so big. Ernie Jones finally made the tackle on John Riggins.
Runs like a little man, doesn't he?
Like he's just shuffling along, and all of a sudden he's got 6. What they did to Brad.
It's away from the play now. You can see Fugit. Oh, now Hermelin gets his shot in. That's a good idea. Use the official. Scrape off a couple.
Fugit was coming back for another shot. It'll be 2nd down and 3 to go now. Again, it is Riggins. And again, he gets enough for the first down. Harry Carson made the tackle. Helped by Dan Lloyd.
Now with the Giants, would like to have had that punt over again and take the ball, huh? Here's Carson playing off Nugent's block and getting into it, but the first down was made, and the Redskins have that tempo again. They look like they're clicking.
Ball's at the Giant 34-yard line. 1st and 10, Washington. 6:40 left to play 3rd quarter. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. Riggins. Like about 4 before Troy Archer got him down.
Looks like Theismann is saying, we got a big fella back here. Let's work him a little bit. Kuziel coming off against Archer. Archer fights the pressure beautifully on this. Good thing he did. Gave up yardage, but not as much.
Kuziel occupied him long enough so that Riggins could get into the hole, but not much more. He got 3. At the 31, 2nd and 7. Tony Green. Van Pelt.
The safety man, he tackles like a small fella, but he weighs 235. This is a good tackle. Play is strung out pretty well by the Giant defense, and it's sort of a slow developing play. Riggins takes on Carson. Van Pelt is naked, or is Green naked. Good tackle.
Loss of about a yard. Brad Van Pelt, who has made 2 fine plays in this last series. 3rd and 8. Theismann will have to put it up. Intended for Riggins. Van Pelt is saying that Riggins interfered with him. We'll see Mosley again.
Trouble was Van Pelt was so busy to demonstrate about the interference that he didn't make the catch. Both backs were out. They circle him across. Theismann decides on number 44 rather than Harmon, who's been swinging to the left, right by the official's hip. Van Pelt is already protesting when he comes up.
That's Terry Hermeling coming off to the Redskin bench like right now. It looks like it might be a problem with his leg. Meantime, Theismann will hold for Mosley. It'll be from 49 yards out.
He's 3 for 5 from 49.
This one won't get there. He didn't get it all.
The powder was wet.
The score remains. The Giants. 17-6 the score at Giant Stadium in front of a sellout throng of about 75,000 people.
And the Giants are really attacking the pride of the Washington Redskins. That's still a great defensive team.
It'll be first down, and the option play goes back to Hammond. This time it's played extremely well by Brad Dusek. Nice warm day.
You know, if you insult an old man, he'll really fight. And the Redskins have enough age. They went in at halftime, and they know a lot of people back home are watching, including their wives and their loved ones in some cases. And I'm telling you, they'll play hard this half.
Second down, no gain on first. Pisarcik in group needs 10. He's going to throw. Robinson is the intended receiver. Gerard Williams, the defender. He took the place of Lamar Parrish. In the event you might have joined us late, Lamar Parrish, who would normally be at that spot, broke his right arm in the first half. Redskins put in an extra defensive back now.
And Perry Brooks, number 69, comes in, who's a very good pass rusher. Pisarcik might come out with a draw or a screen or something other than the straight drop back.
Big play in the first half was a fake reverse, tossed back to Pisarcik. They got their touchdown just before the half. Here is Hammond, still on his feet. Perry Brooks made the tackle, number 69. Hammond got some good yardage, but not enough for the first down, and we'll see Dave Jennings.
Like a roadrunner. Looked like he only had a couple of yards, and Hammond kept him driving, didn't he? Watch the second effort. Number 33 goes through here, and you lose him. Dusek's down, and here's where Hammond keeps driving. Don't tell me he's not a tough little running back.
And again, Jim Clack. That's a good block that time on Brooks.
Ooh.
Off a shot. Tony Green retreats all the way to his own 4-yard line. Now back to the 1. Tony Green spins out to about the 17. At least a 60-yard punt from Jennings.
That was kicked. He starts to kick it. That is a launch. Was the future sportscaster roughed? Yes, but legally. Watch this. The Redskin is blocked into him, and Jennings took the fall.
Redskins have the football. Giants lead 17-6. 7 of 19 for Theismann. Here's Clarence Harmon. He might have gotten a couple before he was tripped up by Troy Archer, but that's all.
Redskins had a pretty good drive going and came up empty when Mosley missed. The Redskins seem to think they can move the football now.
Danny Buggs and Ricky Thompson shuttling back and forth and taking the plays in for Joe Theismann. They alternate at wide receiver. McDaniel and Buggs both split wide right. Puget the other way. He'll be out of bounds.
Pretty good coverage by Bryant. McDaniel runs a good pattern, and I'm telling you, Theismann put this right on the money. He's simply out of bounds.
Just can't get both feet down in time.
That's a good throw.
In fact, he got neither one of them down that time. Bryant trots off. Otis McKinney has replaced him. He is a rookie. That's Harmon. More than enough for a Redskin first down as Theismann looked and looked and finally found somebody. Ernie Jones on the tackle. A 21-yard gain this was.
Watch the presence of mind of number 7. He goes back. Pretty good rush by the Giants, but nobody quite gets there. This is his circle back. Late, very late. Wide open. Carson was held near the line of scrimmage covering Riggins. That was a good pass under adverse conditions by Theismann.
Line of scrimmage now is the Giant 41. First and 10. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to play third quarter. Riggins will get the call. And Riggins bangs straight ahead for about 5 or 6 before he's stopped by Dan Lloyd. Kansas City leading Cleveland now 10-3. Second quarter. Riggins got about 4 yards, maybe.
Kansas City's touchdown was an 8-yard run by Arnold Morgano.
That's a name I'm not too familiar with.
Mr. and Mrs. Morgano are.
At the 45, second and 6 for the Redskins and Theismann. Fake to Riggins. A lot of time. Harmon over his head. Ryan Kelly back with him.
This time it was a swing back that went up the sidelines. Again, they're taught if the play doesn't unfold in about 3 seconds, 2 seconds, you got to do something different. Otis McKinney was really going to hit Harmon. Look at this shot. Thank heavens we didn't show you that.
Green Bay 7, Minnesota 7. Packer touchdown, a 3-yard run by one of the best backs playing anywhere now, Turdell Middleton. Third down for Theismann. Protection again is good. Intended for Bugs and knocked loose by Larry Mallory. Ernie Jones on the coverage. I beg your pardon.
Redskins have done a job on the line of scrimmage, and that was a big play by Ernie Jones, the safety man. No flags and nothing to holler about.
It has been a tough day throwing for Joe Theismann. Mike Bragg into the game again. He has had good protection. He just hadn't been able to find out anybody that's able to break into the clear.
8 of 23, Theismann is, for 77 yards, and of course a big interception.
Bragg, little kick. Good high kick again. And Robinson puts up the right arm. Now he decides to let it bounce. And the Redskins knock it out of the end zone.
Did you see how many Redskins were down there? There's Wysocki and company. Look at this charge. Call a general. Tell him that they're all out here.
Giants have the football at their own 20. 57 seconds left to play third quarter. 17-6 to score. Joe Pisarcik is quarterback all day for the Giants. He is 3 out of 8. He is 3 out of 9. Intended for Jimmy Robinson. Gerard Williams on the coverage.
Harold McClinton went by Pisarcik like a train in the night. Middle linebacker blitzed. I think Joe had to sort of pull the trigger a little bit before he wanted to. Watch number 53. Hello, Joe could see him coming, and what he's saying to Robinson is, I'm going to let you have the problem.
Robinson scored the first Giant touchdown. Pisarcik got the other one. Long count. Flag is down. Like Coy Bacon might have jumped a little bit too soon. That'll stop the clock with 50 seconds left to play third quarter.
I don't blame you, Coy. That was a staggered count, and it's hard to catch this veteran group doing something like that.
Fourth quarter score. That thriller. Buffalo 3, Cincinnati nothing.
Field goal is going to hold up by Tom Dempsey. Must be snowing. Is that in Buffalo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Offside, number 80, defense.
Jets in St. Louis. The Jets now 23-10 over the Cardinals. 45-yard field goal by Pat Leahy was the last scoreboard work for the Jets. 2nd and 5. Hammond shifts back deep. Robinson comes in motion, and Hammond will get the carry. He breaks away from Hamburger, but can't get anywhere else. Did well, in fact, to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Hamburger is crowding the line of scrimmage. So is Dusick on the far side, and Pardee and company want to force something to happen, a mistake on offense. Jake Scott, number 13. A great clutch football player. Boy, that is tough down in there where nobody's watching some of those secondary happenings, you know.
Banged in the back by Gary Shirt. 3rd and 5 situation now. Coder loses a couple, stopped by Brad Dusick after he was hit first by Dave Butts.
Redskins defense is putting pressure on the Giants.
That was the last play of the 3rd quarter. The score is the Giants 17, Redskins 6. We now pause for a word from your local station. Giant punter Dave Jennings, 6'4", 205. Nobody does it better.
And against the Redskins, he averages almost 50 yards a shot. This is the team that he punched the best against.
Tony Green back deep. Terry Anderson, however, handles it. Cuts back inside, gets away from 1 or 2. Redskins will take the football over at their own 44-yard line. Frank Marion made the tackle.
You know Joe Walton better than I do, probably, Pat. You know he's been on the sidelines, talking upstairs, thinking about what can he get to Theismann for this offensive series.
World's Strongest Men, don't forget that competition is part of the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time. Also the Phoenix 150. That's next week. Right now, it's the Redskins and Giants. Theismann looks out to the outside about something. An official on the far side of the field wants the Giant players to move back a little bit. Dallas, Philadelphia, the Cowboys 14.
Roger Staubach to Drew Pearson for an 11-yard touchdown, and Dallas must be mad.
That's a minute to go in the 2nd quarter in Dallas. Cowboys 14-0 over the Eagles. Here's Riggins looking for someplace to go and finally finding it. And struggling for about 6 yards before he's tackled by Brad Van Pelt. Jack Pardee looking on.
I mean, Kazeel went after Archer and followed him all the way down the line of scrimmage and had 54, not blocked 77. Watch the left part of your screen. Look at the two moving through the left part. Just out of your... And Kazeel stays with it, and there goes Archer down, and that's where Riggins went over the top.
Riggins, 14 carries for 70 yards now. Having a good year. And having a busy day. He might have a first down. Again, it was number 10 who made the tackle, Brad Van Pelt. Might be close enough here to measure.
Once the Redskins get it rolling a little bit, they do have a feeling. Again, they are not on the board, and the Giant defense has really been superb.
They've given up 2 field goals. It looks like about the length of the ball is what they need for the first down. Danny Buggs checks out. Here's a situation when if you're on defense, you really got to be careful. Can't crowd them too much, can you?
You get stretched so far across the line of scrimmage that any penetration can pop. Not much help.
17-6 to score. The Giants have led from the outset. get it. Brian Kelly led the charge.
I believe Bryant gets in there too, number 21. Those cornerbacks are snugged up there. Mendenhall from behind, Kelly, you name them.
Archer in the bottom of it. Mike Bragg comes into the game. The Redskins lost about a yard, and I'm a little bit surprised they're not going for it.
Last week they went on 4th and goal and 2 against the Eagles and didn't make it. But this one looks to me like they maybe should have gone for it.
Bragg standing back at about his own 37. Robinson and Hammond would be deep. A flag is down. Hammond is going to watch it bounce out of bounds. About the 17, I believe, is where they'll mark it. Maybe a little bit further out than that. Flag goes down on the far side of the field, however.
I'm wondering about with 13:16 left in the 4th period. How many more times do the Redskins figure they're going to get the football? Twice?
Putting a lot of heat on the defense.
A lot of heat on Joe Pisarcik's offense.
It was 17-6 at the half. We now have 13:16 left to play in the contest, and it's still 17-6. The Giants over the Redskins. It is a Giant first down. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire at Giant Stadium. Buffalo and Cincinnati is now 5-0. Buffalo got a safety. Pisarcik is going to throw on first down. I can't believe this. He was going to try to throw, and he couldn't.
I believe they're going to get Gordon Gravel for holding on Coy Bacon. Boy, you go straight drop back against Washington in the 4th period. You better get some more troops out there.
Chris Hanberger was coming on a blitz. Loss looks to be about 7 or 8 yards.
Holding. Number 71. Offense. Refused. Second down.
Gravel, yes.
A little confident. Just refuse it. There is the tackle from behind by Gordon Gravel. Coy Bacon called that one from the ground.
I don't believe I've ever seen anything like that before. That is a full tackle. 19-16, the Buccaneers over the Bears. There is Doug Coder right straight ahead in the arms of Brad Dusek. Nice autumn picture.
She sure is. Thinking about working on somebody, you'd probably work on number 45 playing left corner since Parrish is not in there. But I'm telling you, putting it up at all right now takes a guy with a lot of stuff going.
There's a big third down. Hammond and Zonka, the two backs, and Hammond gets the call. And he will get the carry. Doug Van Horn in front of him. Tyrone Calvert almost a late hit. Brad Dusek made the tackle.
Dyron did come along with a bent leg slide, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Leading with his shoulder.
That is some bunch of professionals right there. You're looking at the defense of the Redskins. Nobody plays them one at a time. You play all 11.
Dave Jennings' average today is better than his season-long average by more than 2 yards. A high snap. Jennings comes down with it.
Oh.
And chases Tony Green back to his own 25. And finally to the 23. Look out for this guy. Back to the 44-yard line before Frank Marion made the tackle. 54 yards on the punt by Dave Jennings. 17-6 our score. Tony Green in the backfield with Riggins. Joe Theismann is quarterback from the outset, and he is going to throw and does.
Oh.
John McDaniel juggled for a minute.
Bryant.
And then took a shot from Bryant.
The Grambling grad really nailed him. Flanker coming across. They call this a 6. If he gets hit like this, sometimes it's a 10. Watch this. Hello. Bryant's played well.
Terry Jackson also on the tackle. Bryant goes over the left side in front of Ricky Thompson. 2nd and 10 for Theismann, and he fakes once and throws. Fugit has it bounce out of his hand. Larry Mallory on the coverage.
Theismann must be really loading up the football. That ball was catchable. And Fugit has, what, 5 touchdowns and 10 catches coming in.
In good hands.
Yeah, super hands at height. Former Cowboy. Watch it, just a quick move. Now, he's sort of the split left receiver, which is very dangerous because he's got speed. For him, that was catchable.
It'll be 3rd down and 10 for the Redskins now. 11 minutes, 32 seconds left to play. Giants fake a blitz, don't come. No blitz as Theismann is chased by George Martin. Flag is down also.
And Archer was being held by Kazeel. And the Giants are going to have the option. That was some pass rush.
Done by 3 men. Not a blitz.
Watch the left center of your screen as number 77 wades through and suddenly is dropped as his shoelaces were tied together.
Martin got away from George Stark.
Holding, 54, offense, refused.
Bob Kazeel is number 54. Mike Bragg in the game for the Redskins on 4th and 22. Jimmy Robinson and Bobby Hammond deep for the Giants.
What a defensive series the last 3 plays by the Giants.
Oh, another good kick by Mike Bragg. This time chases Hammond all the way back to the 12. And the Redskins chase him back further than that. Down to the 5 he goes down. What good coverage.
Looks like they've just opened the bus when a team arrives at the stadium.
Clarence Harmon on that tackle. As the clock now shows 11:14 left to play. That's the score. Nobody has left Giant Stadium as yet. It is 17-6. The Giants over the Redskins. 11:14 left to play. Joe Pisarcik. 1st and 10. Goes on the long count. He gives to Zonka. Zonka in the arms of Harold McClinton struggles for 2 or 3.
Pisarcik was 3 for 6 for 111 yards at halftime. He is now 3 for 9 for 111. The Redskin defense has come to play. Nobody's better in the 4th period, I don't think, than these old battlers right here.
Number 79, Ron McDowell, is playing in his 232nd NFL game.
I think only Marshall has more, huh?
That's the 2nd longest streak in the history of the league. Jim Marshall of the Vikings is longer. That's for a defensive player. 18 years, number 79's been there. Bobby Hammond, the ball carrier.
And the Redskins are daring Joe Pisarcik to go ahead and air it out, Joe. You're having a great year. Now let's see you beat our defense throwing the football deep in your own territory.
McDowell will come out. Carl Lorch takes his place. Redskins, I believe, think they're going to throw. I don't think so. Hammond is very, very near 1st down yardage. The quick trap is stopped by McClinton. He's got it.
What a run by Hammond. 174 pounds, 3 pounds. Maybe after 3/4, 165. Whatever it is, 33 sticks it. Flack, Van Horn, Turner doing a pretty good job. And I'll tell you, that's a bunch of grizzly bears out there.
14 carries, 64 yards for Bobby Hammond. 1st down, Giants. Ball is at their own 17. Larry Csonka will get the carry. And he leans up there for 1 or 2. Stopped by Carl Lorch this time. Billy Taylor down the backfield with him. But some great years he had, number 39.
Boy, he likes to be used, doesn't he?
Yep.
Likes to be worked. Get me in the tough spot, and this is a tough spot. The Giants got to get some time. Little face mask by McClinton, but he quickly takes his taped-up hands off. Boy, Harold.
One of the great things about Csonka is he very rarely ever fumbles. That's Billy Taylor. Brad Dusek handled him. 8:20, 8:19 now left to play. Minnesota 14, Green Bay 7.
Ahmad Rashad, a 3-yard pass from Tarkenton. And those Vikings are not dead.
Mike Thomas looking on, as he has been throughout the day. It'll be another 3rd down situation for the Giants. They need about 4. They move the ball out to their own 23.
Redskins will bring everybody up close.
Taylor, this time in the grasp of McClinton, he will not get the first down. Csonka is down. Looks like he might be shaken just a bit. Let's see what happened to him.
The battering ram. And believe me, he made a couple of Super Bowls happen for Don Shula. Gets Dusek, but Dusek goes right under it. Giant down on the play.
That, I believe, is Mikolajczyk.
Big offensive right tackle.
Giants' #1 draft choice is an offensive tackle who hadn't seen that much action. Gordon King.
See what it's working on Lorch right here. And I believe Dusek came across his legs as he made the tackle.
While they were extended, Dusek went across him, and that's what caused his problem. There goes the injured Giant, Ron Mikolajczyk, the offensive right tackle.
Been doing a great job, too.
4th and 2, and Dave Jennings will punt it. Tony Green back for the Redskins. They try to put the rush on. They did put the rush on, and Green lets it bounce. At the 28, they did not get really close enough to bother Jennings very much. 45-yard kick by Dave. Regional games next Sunday here on CBS. St. Louis at Philadelphia. San Francisco against the Redskins in Washington.
Good game.
Detroit at Chicago. The Giants will be at New Orleans. Tampa Bay against Green Bay. All next Sunday. Right here. Right here, right now, Joe Theismann has his work cut out for him. The lateral is to Tony Green. He cuts back, starts to cut back inside. Ricky Thompson caught the pass. Lateral back to Tony Green before he was finally stopped by Harry Carson.
What a play. The short out by Thompson. And watch Green now coming out. He's right at the bottom of your screen. It's a low throw. Theismann lays it right there. Look at this scoop. Now Bryant says, where did he come from? And now you got a 400-meter relay team, I'll tell you, to catch him.
39-yard pickup by the Redskins. Line of scrimmage down to Giant 32. 6:20 left to play. Theismann to Riggin. Cannot break away. He gets a couple near the 30. Roy Archer and Dan Lloyd, the tacklers, on Riggin.
Archer has been all over the field for the Giants. When they go in that 3, he becomes the nose man. Coming off a bad knee, playing darn well.
40-yard touchdown pass from Doug Williams to Morris Owens has given Tampa Bay that 26-16 lead over the Bears.
The most points they've ever scored, Tampa Bay?
That's correct. Theismann wants a timeout. That'll mean they have 2 left.
That's a costly timeout. Redskins are thinking 2 touchdowns at least.
Right now, the score is 17-6. Giants ahead. Second down, Washington. That's the time left in the game, 5:46. Redskins trail. Theismann under the sack from Brian Kelly goes down. And the blitz got him. George Martin helped.
A big defensive lineman might not have made this play. Number 55 is small, about 212 or 14 pounds. Beats the block of Hermelink and gets the quarterback. Theismann is now 9 of 27 for 82 yards, 1 interception, and 2 sacks.
Including that big one just there. Clock still runs with 5:20 left to play. They're down 15 yards to go for the Redskins. This time the protection is good. Theismann for Buggs. It's picked off by Ernie Jones, and Jones comes back to the 20. The 25. Theismann takes him out of bounds in front of the Giant bench in Giant territory. There are no penalty flags. 49-yard return by Big Ernie Jones.
This time Theismann scrambled himself, forgot about the off safety man. Watch him move to the right now. Archer's working against Kazeel. Nugent's waiting. A lot of time here. Everybody's covered. Theismann sort of jacks the ball, now moves around and gets the extra time, but he forgets about the off safety man to the left of the screen. Second interception for Ernie Jones, a rather large one. Quarterback never saw him. Good run back by Jones, huh?
Sarchik's pass is batted up in the air. They just announced to the crowd that this is the largest crowd in Giant history. And that's a long time. 76,192.
Some are starting to leave, which is the biggest vote of confidence I've ever heard for a football team.
Isn't that the truth? And what a sight it is here.
Giants have 2 first downs on offense this half.
Right now they have the football in Redskin territory at the 46. That is Billy Taylor. Still on his feet, still struggling. He goes down in the hands of Houston. And Harold McClinton. Let's see what Larry Zonka did on that last play.
Zonka on Dusek. Dusek throws his body back into it. I'll tell you, Taylor, the rookie from Texas Tech, might be around for a while.
Strong runner who goes about 215. Third down and 3 to go. Giants 17, Redskins 6. Hammond and Zonka now the running back. It is Hammond. There's a flag thrown on the play by somebody watching something in the offensive line, so it was figured to be holding.
McDowell is mad. Talbot's mad. The whole defensive Redskin team is mad. They played the second half like it was D-Day, but there were a few lapses in that first half. Look at that group. I'd like to have them come in on a Sunday night dinner for you.
Holding.
Not have enough food.
Number 63, refused. 4th down.
The penalty is refused. See some of the spectators starting to depart. It'll be Jennings. And on 4th down, the Giants will punt.
You never leave the stadium too soon with the Redskins around.
Jennings averaging 48 yards a kick today. Tony Green standing back at about the 10-yard line. The Redskins will get the ball back with just more than 4 minutes left to play. They do not try to block it. He does try to kick it out of bounds, and he does. That'll hurt his average. He gets it out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Both teams have been penalized 5 times. The Giants for 53 yards, the Redskins for 30. They got their work cut out for them now. 17-6 with that much time remaining.
I guess it'd be silly to think about Billy Kilmer being called on to play quarterback in the last 4 minutes, huh?
I had thought about that earlier. Is that a pumpkin?
The ball of fire.
That's what the Redskins need right now is a ball of fire from somewhere. Theismann throws outside. It is complete. McDaniel struggles for about 8 yards before Harry Carson leads the charge and takes him down. Arkville, New York, loves the Giants. Now, don't ask me where Arkville is.
Well, I wasn't going to. I could barely read the sign. Here's the pass pattern. Pretty late for short outs unless you're trying to set something up. You had this play in the first quarter. I still think Fugit has to be the way to bail this team out, number 84.
It was a 7-yard gain, so it's 2nd and 3 now for Theismann and group. Danny Buggs will have the first down. And the struggle is at the 36-yard line. Larry Mallory. Buggs with no place to go. Bears have scored on a field goal by Bob Thomas of 27 yards, and it's 26-19 with 6 minutes left to play in that game. Buggs comes out. There's Joe Walton in the middle of the picture there, who coordinates the Redskin offense. Nothing doing here. Flags all over the place.
Theismann's going to go back and tell Kuzil, give me the ball. Don't leave me hanging.
Illegal procedure, the call against Washington.
Illegal procedure. Quarterback number 7, first down.
Took his hands out from under the center, but he thought he had the ball in him.
Theismann underneath. Kuzil. Drops again to throw. Firing deep. Just over the fingertips of Ricky Thompson. Bill Bryant, the closest defender to him.
You know, you think everybody in this league is trying to kill everybody else, and we always worry about the big injury. But that time, Gregory had a pretty good late rush on number 7, and he wasn't getting there for the pass rush, and he pulled off. And I just think people out there ought to know that there's a code of honor among these guys that is very strong indeed.
11 out of 30 for Theismann for just 100 yards. Speaks well for the secondary, which is sort of patched up for the Giants, but they've done a good job. Buggs splits out right at the bottom of your picture, and Theismann again drops. Second down, he will throw and does. It's about the only kind of pass he's been able to complete underneath everything. This time it's Clarence Harmon, the receiver.
You know how many people the Redskins are putting on Archer, number 77? That time they left 3 people near him with a 3-man rush to make sure 77 did not come up. Watch 77 in the middle of your screen. There's Saul, there's Kuzil, and I guarantee you Nugent's waiting for him too, the other guard.
Still thrashing away. It's third down. They fake a blitz, and then they back out. It's a 3-man rush as Theismann goes again underneath, intended for Riggins. Slapped down by Archer.
At Colorado, he used to play spiker for the girls volleyball team. Watch number 77. He gets straightened up and stopped by a double. He decides the best I can do is lift it a little bit. Quite an effort, huh?
Fourth down situation now as Theismann looks over to the bench to see what they want done. Here comes the punting team. He wanted to stay. 30-second clock shows 12 seconds left to get this underway. 2 minutes and 3 seconds left. Bouncing pass to Bragg, and Bragg throws. And it works. Mike Bragg to Mark Murphy for a Redskin first down.
Bragg threw a tight spiral.
Yes. His stats are pretty good. The Redskins stay alive with a 2-minute warning just being given to both coaches. 17-6 to score. Here's Mike Bragg's pass again to Mark Murphy.
A short hop, too. Pat, did you ever fake any and throw any passes in your career with the Giants?
When the snap was bad or when we fumbled it, yes, I remember throwing a couple of times.
Did it ball rotate and do all right?
Never was complete. That is the final score, 5-0, Buffalo over Cincinnati. Here's Riggins. The draw play. He got about 5. Dan Lloyd made the tackle. Theismann hurries him up. Then on second down, he fires outside. This time it's Tony Green. Gets out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. Brian Kelly in pursuit of Tony Green.
Coaches must age, lose hair or get gray hair in figuring out what makes a team play in the first half lethargically and come out in the second half and really do a job.
It'll be third down for Joe Theismann. John McVay, the Giant coach. Redskins have never beaten him. Riggins will have the first. Skins hurry up again. 1:25 left to play. Jack Pardee looking on. Larry Mallory made the tackle. Of course, taking their time getting back. Theismann. And a quick count. Underthrows Riggins just a bit. Terry Jackson hit him. Clock will be stopped with 1:09 left to play. The ball on the Giant 33.
Trying to think when I seen the Giant team play this kind of defense for 4 quarters.
A long time.
Yes, Vice President, General Manager, Mr. Robustelli, and your group of ruffians used to play this kind of football for 4 quarters, but I'll tell you, it's a good defensive job.
They have done an outstanding job, both in the 3-4 and the 4-3, whatever alignment they've used. Mendenhall in there now with George Martin and Gary Jeter. It's the 3-man rush. Nothing doing. Dan Pelt, Carson, intended for Ricky Thompson, or Fugit was the intended receiver.
What an advantage it is when you can double the outside with your safety men and cornerbacks and let your linebackers cover the tight end. Here's number 64, Mendenhall, with Kuziel and Nugent still going, even on his back. He wants number 7.
Got up and took Theismann down. Dan Pelt has had an outstanding day. So has Carson. So has Archer. Theismann fires. Caught. Bugs. It'll be a Redskin first down at the 15, and they hustle back again. Less than a minute left to play. 17-6 Giants lead. Theismann with a lot of time. It's picked off by Carson. The third Giant interception of the day as Carson stays on his feet, still on his feet. Tackled by Riggins, but that ought to do it.
Number 53 can turn it around. A 238-pounder who's getting better each week.
There it is.
From the hurry up, I think he's trying to get number 84, Fugit, and he simply underthrows it. I'll tell you, these linebackers for the Giants are like hitmen. They have really been in the right spot.
Third interception of the year for number 53, Harry Carson. Sandy Grossman, the director of this broadcast, and it's been produced by Chuck Milton. Joe Theismann, 15 out of 38 for 119 yards, 3 interceptions. Danka, straight ahead. Giants lead 17-6.
This division does tighten up just a little bit, doesn't it?
Dallas still leading Philadelphia. Last score we had from that was 14-0. The Cowboys would tie the Redskins for the lead in the NFC East. The Giants would up their record to 5-3, just 1 game off the lead. There's the quarterback who led the offense. That was the score at the half, and that's what it remains. Tom Brookshire was talking much earlier about what a job that guy did. 77 is Troy Archer.
The whole New York team was very well prepared for this. And for some reason, the Redskins the last 3 weeks have been going through the motions, and then when tested, really put it back together, but too late.
They had to come back to beat Detroit. They had a tough time with the Eagles, of course, last week, losing that one. And that division, this division, I should say, takes on a total new complexion now. The Giants will be at New Orleans next week. The Redskins play San Francisco at home.
San Francisco's due for one big football game very shortly.
Biggest crowd ever to see a Giant game in the history of this franchise, which goes way, way back. There were some packed houses at Yankee Stadium in those years, but today was the biggest one of all time. Over 76,000.
Will they be dancing in the streets?
Oh, I can't wait to get out and walk through the parking lot. How about you?
If we can get through the parking lot, that's the biggest problem here.
I doubt we can for a while. Again, we remind you that the last time we heard from Dallas, the Cowboys were leading the Eagles 14-0. Here, Jimmy Robinson caught a touchdown pass of 43 yards from Joe Pisarcik. Pisarcik himself ran in from 3 yards out just before the half. And that's the way it was. Final score, the Giants 17. The guest, the Washington Redskins, just 6. Final score at Giant Stadium again. The Giants 17, Washington Redskins 6. And as impressive a defensive performance as we've seen in a long time.
Can you start out the season and have too many games that go your way? Pardee brought this team out of the blocks gunning. They didn't lose their first game until last week. Almost lost the week before. I wonder if you can recapture that all at once, even with a great bunch of veterans.
Quite honestly, one of the Redskin assistants told me before the game that they frankly had not been playing very well lately, and they weren't sure how good they were. They have a better idea now, I think.
I think so.
Now we take you to CBS Sports Control. We are not throwing yet. I'm sorry. I was going to say we'll go back to the studio, but I have been corrected.
That's some shot, though. You know, John McVay might be one of those real stretch runners as coaches. Before every game, he can look you right in the eye, and win or lose after the game, he doesn't duck the press, doesn't run from interviews. He's a lot taller than he looks.
Scoreboard sign on this stadium. There may be a better football stadium in the country somewhere, but I don't think so. I think this is the best one we work in.
It's a giant Franklin Field. You know, you have the feeling that fans sitting up top can hear contact on the field. They can hear pads hitting, and that sort of makes football what it really is.
And there were a lot of them here today. Some of the other scores in the event you might have missed it. The one final we had was Buffalo 5, Cincinnati nothing. The Jets were leading the Cardinals, the last score we had, by a sizable margin. Tampa Bay was ahead of Chicago. That is a final score now, 23-10. The Jets beat the Cardinals, and Bud Wilkinson now, after returning to football, being away for 15 years, comes back to an 0-8 record at the moment.
They're having their problems.
So, a very delighted John McVay and a very happy Troy Archer head for the locker room. Big crowd filing out of Giant Stadium. Joe Pisarcik hit Jimmy Robinson with a touchdown pass early in the game.
I just saw him drinking ginger ale out of a lady's boot. When you win up here, it's something in the big city, you know it?
Yes, it is. Pisarcik was 3 out of 10 on the day for 111 yards. He ran for 1 touchdown, passed to the other. Tampa Bay in the fourth quarter leads the Chicago Bears in Tampa, this is, 33-19.
Wow.
That I know is the most points they've ever scored. The New York Jets 23, St. Louis 10. That's a final. Oh, that was over at Shea Stadium. This also a final, and that is correct. Buffalo 5, Cincinnati nothing.
No word on that Philadelphia-Dallas score?
Not